Hi, I'm Shad coming at you from Atitlan Organics once again. Thanks a lot for coming on and exploring the permaculture style plant propagation video library. This is meant to be the first video in the series. In this short video, I briefly want to describe in a bit more detail our method of approaching plant propagation and in general working with plants. This method relies a lot more on intuition and is a lot less concerned with the fine details of the technique. Learning how to look at any plant at any time of the year and start to intuit what type of plant propagation method it prefers. Our technique, which is a very empowering technique, I believe, involves having a dialogue with the plant, or asking a series of 5 questions that guide you towards the preferred plant propagation method. The first question is, what is the most obvious thing about you? Look at the plant. See if maybe the most obvious thing is a flower or a fruit or a big fat seed. Maybe it's something different. Maybe it's the bark or the leaf or the color. Maybe not much is happening above ground. But the first question is to ask the plant, what is the most interesting thing about you? If it's a flower or a fruit or a seed, we look for the seed. And seed is the first method of propagation. For example, if we look at this coffee, we look at the whole plant and we say, what is the most obvious thing about coffee? Well, also, we drink coffee, and what we actually drink is the toasted bean. So, this red fruit, which calls our attention here, it contains this bean or the coffee seed inside of it. This suggests that we plant the seed. Here with me we have tropical cotton. As you can see, the first question in our dialogue says, well, what is the most obvious thing about you? This flower is quite striking and therefore likely the most obvious thing. Upon closer inspection, we see that the flower doesn't actually have any viable seed inside. If there is any seed, you really can't find it easily. That's a sign that seed is not the best or preferred method of propagation for this plant. That takes us to the second question in our dialogue. If there's no seed, are you woody and upright? And as you can see, this plant is growing in a woody and upright fashion. Cuttings are often signified by plants that grow in woody, upright ways. The next question is, are there a lot of baby plants growing around you? This suggests plant division. Here in front of me we have a banana, and as you can see, this is one banana here, but all along the side there's little baby bananas. This is a sign that it's plant division. It's not woody and upright. Everyone knows bananas don't usually have seeds, but there are a bunch of baby plants around it. Therefore, we do plant division. This is the fourth question in our plant dialogue. If it doesn't have an obvious seed or flower, if it's not woody and upright, if there are not a lot of baby plants growing all around it, the next question is, well, do you fall over and make roots where you touch the ground? Do you fall over and make roots where you touch the ground? And as you can see, this here in front of me is mint. Most ground covers are propagated by layering. Ground covers often crawl along the ground, they fall over, and they make roots where they touch the ground. So if I look at this mint, which is a ground cover, and I lift a little piece up, I see that in fact it does have roots where it's touching the ground. The final question in our plant dialogue leads us to root division. If the plant does not have an obvious flower, fruit, or seed, if it is not woody and upright, if there are not a lot of other little plants growing around it, and if it does not fall to the ground and make roots where it touches the ground, the last question is there that much really going on above ground? Or is not much really going on above ground? And when you look at plants like this is a wild ginger, you see that no, not much is really going on above ground. You actually see the roots sticking up out of the ground. This is a sign that we use root division.